Alright, hi guys, and welcome to another installment of My Life in Color. This time around, we're going to be exploring a little bit of a different topic, but still kind of how to organize your life. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll brush up with what we kind of did last week, and then we'll get into the next one. So last week, we did a monthly spread, which you've seen that one. So this is a vertical style, and then we did it horizontal style, and you can do different. We talked about cleaning and how to start adding things like meal cleaning and certain stuff like that. So, and we did some drawings on the side. On top of that, we just kind of thought about how to plan out the month and plan out the week. This is a week spread I did, just a little different here and there. Like here, if you have kids or people with you, you need them to do chores or certain things, you can keep track of them here on your page as well. Just make a grid and mark like Monday through Friday, and then just right here to decide what they want. And then just take it off and see how well they do. So that's kind of what we did last time. And of course some trackers, and made some little note places. So this time we're gonna be talking about traveling. So because we're getting into, it's July, it's the month where people generally travel. We've got a few weeks left before school starts, so that's the time to kind of start thinking about what you want to do if you're going to travel. Now I focus more on international travel on this one, but it can also work for local or domestic travel as well. Alright, so the first one I have is a list. Anytime you're traveling and anytime you want to go somewhere, you're figuring out where you're going to go, whether it's going to be a national park, whether it's going to be a water park, whether it's going to be just like a day around town. You need to have somewhat of an itinerary, and it wouldn't hurt to have a packing list. So like if you go to the mountain, you know that it's going to be a little bit cooler, so you might bring a jacket. You know, whereas if you were just hanging out by the lake, you probably wouldn't need one. So you can create a list where it will help you kind of sort out what you need. Like if you're going hiking, you'll need some better shoes than you wear at the beach, where you can just wear flip-flops. So, and you can do that a number of ways. You can do it the standard list way, or you can do it where you add a little bit of design to it. And you can do this on any kind of notebook paper. I prefer the dots because it does make it easier to make the shapes, but you can do it online as well. And all you do is whatever size you need. If it's a big vacation, it might be a larger rectangle. If it's a smaller something, it might be small, but you can do it however. And I just colored these with these highlighters right here. So these are handy. If you have a marker or a highlighter or something, you can make them like label colors. So here I divided it into clothes, tech, miscellaneous, makeup, and if you're flying, you might want to think about your plane outfit. If not, then think about if you're taking a road trip, what you're going to need. You know, what comfy clothes to sit in, what snacks, food, water, map out the stops there. So something to think about. And you can set it up however. I did decorate here with some washi tape. I do love washi tape for borders and stuff, and it makes it kind of fun and colorful. But so for this, I'm a minimalist when I travel, so mainly it was a jacket, jeans, a couple of shirts, because you can wear some things over, and a long sleeve and a short sleeve, because you never know where the weather's going to be. And for tech, it would be the phone or the iPad or both. And don't forget, you can also add like your chargers for it, and if you have a power bank or if you want to check out a hot spot, you know, you can use it for that as well. Just make a list of things you need. And the miscellaneous, if you international, travel or go outside of the country, you have to have a passport. It's good to see if that's up to date. If you're going local, you don't have to worry about that. So, but in here, miscellaneous, it can be like passport, tickets to a museum event you're going to, or also you kind of start planning out, mapping out where you're going. If you're going to Philadelphia to see something in the art museum, where are you going to stay? How much is it going to cost? Can you do it? You might end up trying to figuring out, well, maybe this year I can't do that, but I can work and do this. And so you can make a trip to Pettigene, or you can make a trip to Philadelphia, or wherever, even just a trip around town. But planning is still important because it does help kind of figure out what you've got to spend, what you can do, how you can do it, and make the most out of your day. So for this one, like I said, the foundation, I put makeup here. So like if you have certain makeups or something you need, mine's pretty simple, but some people like to put on everything. So if that's the case and you're going somewhere that requires like maybe nicer dinners or something like that, or maybe say happen you go to an opera or something that's a little nicer, you might want to pack something a little formal or something like that. But it's just a good way to figure out kind of where you're going, what you're doing. And you don't have to use the block thing. You can use it however works for you. It can be lines, it can be triangles, it can be whatever. And so I decorated with some stickers. Stickers are always great to have. And you can always do little drawings. Now, these little flowers, they're pretty easy to do. So first you just start with a circle, like that. And then I like to do 5 petals on these, because you can do how many you want. And you just loop it. And then so there's a flower. And then you swirl, and that's how you get your leaves. And you can add on the flowers, you can do half flowers. If you like leaves, you can do something like this, just kind of like a heart, just almost like a melting heart. And then you just put the veins in it, which is just lines. There is also you can edge it up a little bit by doing a cross-hatching thing and make it a little edgier if you wanted to, or decorate it with flowers or whatever. Or you can also use the washi tape like I did, and you can use it wherever. So that's kind of a packing list, and that's what I would call that. And like I said, it can be big, it can be small, it can be national, international, local, just whatever. Just it is good to have an idea of everything you've got and where you're going. So, and this kind of goes into what we've been doing before, making lists and trying to figuring out, organizing where everything is, where it goes, where it fits into your life in here. Say you need to know if your vacation is going to be 3 days or 2 days or half a day or something. So it's a good way to help with that. So this next one is the flight plan. So if you're traveling into different cities too, you can go by plane, and sometimes you have to remember the layover and different times and time schedules and stuff like that. So you can I drew it on this one, but you can write it down or make a chart, so that way you know which city and what time you're going to be there, because our time's not the same as it would be if you went to Colorado, or if you went to California, or if you went to Hawaii. So you have to keep that in mind. And this one is an international flight, but what I did is from here, this is from Fort Smith to Japan, and it's one stop, and it's in Dallas. And so you'd go from Fort Smith to Dallas in the same day, hang out there, and take a whole nother day to Japan. And so then it's already going to be tomorrow, so you've got to keep that in mind. Here for the week of, so it's a short little vacation. You can do the weather, chart it out. Now, weather can always change, but you can check and kind of get an idea, and you can look at this before you pack, so that way if you notice if it's sunny, you might want to bring some sunscreen. If it's rainy, you might want to bring an umbrella, a raincoat, an extra change of clothes just in case you get wet or something. So you can do it whenever. I started here on Wednesday because that was when we arrived to Japan. So from there to Saturday and then or Sunday, and then you go home. So, but here you can put costs, like I was telling you, different things, the food, the hotels, the whatnot. If you're flying, and this is domestic too, you know how much it's going to cost for a round trip. You put that there. Eat, shop, and sightseeing. You know, you might want to. You can start thinking about if you're going to go somewhere. You can start putting back a little, or start thinking about, this is what I want to do, and you can write that somewhere. Transport. Once you get there, are you going to take a taxi, the metro, drive your car, depending on if you fly or don't fly? In Japan, they have a rail pass for 7 days or 14 days or whatever, so you kind of know which one you're doing for that. And of course, phone-wise, do you need a hotspot where you're going? If you're going out into the mountains, you might need something so that way you can connect and call. If you go to like Japan, they have them you can pick up at the airport, so that way you don't have to pay international roaming costs if you're a foreigner there. So, and then down here, highlights, where you want to go. Every place you have something you want to see. You go to South Dakota, you're going to go check out Mount Rushmore, or maybe even the Badlands. You know, you go to Wyoming, you're going to check out Yosemite. You're going to check out Yellowstone Park in California, San Diego, the beach. You know, it helps to pinpoint where you're going, so that way you can concentrate where you're at. So, and this one was Tokyo Tower, of course, and some places there in Edogawa, which is all within the Tokyo ward there. So, and you can also decorate it with washi tape and make it all nice and colorful. And it's basically building off of what we've done for the week for like cleaning, keeping track of cleaning, our food or stuff like that. We just overlay it with travel. So the travel plan. This is the itinerary. You can be as specific as in like at 9:30 we wake up, 10 o'clock we're at the museum, 11:15 we're having lunch. Or you can just be like museum, food, going to hit the park, something like that. You know, however in between, or like, you know, in the morning, you know, museum and food, afternoon, park, possibly museum, maybe the zoo, something like that. But here I mainly highlighted because like Wednesday you arrived, it's like right at 3 in the afternoon. So kind of half the day's kind of shot. So you just got to kind of settle in and kind of figure out where you're going to eat, what you're going to do, get familiar with your hotel, and kind of use whatever to see where you're going, check your maps, make sure you brought everything properly. And then you can plan out your itinerary. And you don't have to stick to it. You just make a list of everything you would like to see and then try to hit as many as you can. So like the Thursday, it was Tokyo Tower and the Imperial Palace and one of the fish markets. Well, they're all relatively close together, so you can actually do some walking, but if not, there's a nice little rail there called the Yamato line that takes you to all the places too. So you can utilize public transportation and make your trip a lot easier. But this also works for like if you're going to Texas somewhere, you know, if you go to Galveston and you want to eat at a seaside shop, or you want to do some shopping, or you want to go on a certain thing, you can plan this out too. So anyway, so I did the different days in different colors, so that way it's a little colorful, and that way I can kind of glance back and say, oh, you know, Friday, I know which one it is because it's the blue one. And I've also seen where you can line it more like this way and do it more of a straight line, but I feel like this because it's blocked. But it really depends on what you're doing. If you're doing a whole bunch of stuff, this block may not work. So, and then what you can do is when you're finished with things, your book can become kind of a travel notebook, a travel journal. Say you pick up, you know, the you already passed. You get a ticket, right? So you can just tag that at the bottom right there, and there you have a souvenir. So highlighting your days, and this is what I'm talking about, having a travel journal at the end of the day. Sometimes, depending on how much time you leave, you can mark out what you did, write it down, and kind of create a time capsule of memories created. So like you do in shopping, and like here, you know, you got some chopsticks. These are the chopsticks labels you would have to release your chopsticks. Different places like candy, you know, when you get home, you can put it, like sometimes I'll put a thing, I'll put a picture here. And so when I get home, I'll print out a picture and stick it there. And then down here, you can write where you ate, or if you have like a little packet or thing here and there, you can tape it in. And so it's just a way to kind of keep your travels with you. And you can do that on anything, your tickets into national parks, your tickets you get for any raffle game or anything you went to, just anything that's special to you, candy, streamers. I had a balloon streamer I got from somebody, and I tagged it in there because we were visiting from a different state. So, and again, tickets, railway, receipts. Say you went to the King of Prussia Mall, and you know that was one of the highlights. You can stick that receipt in there, and you'll always have kind of mementos in there. And so that's, like I said, to write down the days. You can either combine the days, or you can do one page dedicated to a day, or you can do kind of an overall, this was my time in Japan, I did blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have to be anything set. And you can just collage the whole thing too if you wanted to. So that does work as well. So this one, and I kind of left it so that way. One of the important things about doing events is you want to remember when they're open and what days they're open. So like Friday, the Samurai Museum, it's open from 10:30 to 9. So you can go to it any time. That also helps. So if you know the time when it's open, like if there's one thing open from 10 to 11, you might go there first and then hit the Samurai after, because it doesn't close till 9. But if you have that written down, that's where the itinerary comes in handy. So you want to hit 3 things. Well, if you look when they close, because that's basically what I do, when they open and when they close, that kind of determines what goes first. And again, you can collect souvenirs, like at some of the shrines there in Japan. They have these little fortunes that you can pay a coin in and get it. So, you know, anywhere you go, you get a fortune cookie, eat at a Chinese restaurant, you can stick it in there. You get like I had tea somewhere and I got a pretty tea bag, so I stuck it in the journal as well. And it just kind of helps seal in that moment. And again, another rail pass. And what you can always do is when you get home, of all the pictures you're taking and all the stuff, you can create memories, taking the pictures, you know, print them off and stick them in your book. So some people will do photo albums, which is fine, but I tend to do it more in the journal, just so that way everything's there and it becomes like a travel log. And it can be, like I said, national, international, local. You can do this also too, because I know like in the state parks, they give you those flyers of like the trails you hiked. Well, you can tape one of those in there and you can highlight which trail you made and put a star where you made it. So, any questions on anything like that? Everything good? So, and that's some leftover from that. Now I'm going to show you guys real quick what you can do. And so for the next week, we can plot out. So this is kind of a quick weekly spread. So like the next week's coming up, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to do something. What you can do is just do like a rectangle around, and then line it up. And the one thing I like about the dots is you can kind of calculate that. And you need 7 days, so. Like that, and then you can draw a line down. And this can be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And there, you've got yourself a quick weekly spread. Pretty quick, nothing to it. And then you can write the dates right here, and then you can start making, like, if you have lunch with someone, lunch at 12. Or you can go down here and make your key, which, like, say triangles are lunches, circles are meetings, and then you can just decorate this with triangle, circle, X, and you'll know what you're talking about. And if you have washi tape, you can do it too. Divide it down the side with washi tape. Or if you have a thinner, I didn't bring my thin one, but there's a slender washi tape as well. And you can actually pick those up at the Dollar Tree. So, you know, you don't have to spend a whole lot on it. So, but that's a weekly spread. I just want to show you how to do it really quick. So if you're in a bind, you can just go and then get it all done. So. Well, that's what I've got for you guys today. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'm glad you guys came. It's good to see you.